All right, welcome back to another video of my Autopilot 136 build. If you guys haven't seen the previous one, I went ahead and started the initial process of rigging this out. This is part 2, so we're gonna go ahead and continue from where we left off. This paddle here, I ordered it online through the Old Town website. I typically don't run the paddle when I'm out there as much because I have the trolling motor, but there has been plenty of times that a paddle comes in handy. It comes in handy when you're in very shallow water, if your trolling motor gets clogged, if you are in heavy vegetation and you don't want your trolling motor to get clogged, essentially you'll pull the motor up and you will use the paddle to get around. Or if the battery dies on your trolling motor, you have something to get back. So this will be mounted on the other side just like this. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and install the bracket that holds the paddle in place. So let's go ahead and knock that out. All right, so this is the spot where the paddle gets mounted. This is the bracket here. Old Town provides the Allen key, also the screws that go right into there. So let's go ahead and knock that out. Once that's mounted, go ahead and mount the paddle. Just like that. And then make sure that the latch is on and works properly, which clearly it does. And this thing is awesome. Like it's nice and snug. It's not going to go anywhere. So very nice setup right there. I'm very happy with it. All right, guys. So the next thing I want to go ahead and mount is my phone tether. This thing right here is by Rogue Gear. This has saved my phone a couple times. One was actually, I was trying to take a picture of a bass and took my phone out, and if I fumbled my phone, if it wasn't for this, my phone would have ended up in the lake and I would have lost it. But this thing is awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount this on the kayak and show you guys where I personally place it, and tell you why I place it there. All right, so I go ahead and place this carabiner on the strap of the seat. And where I keep my phone is inside the storage compartment. Place it in there as such. It's out of the way. And it's able to stay in there away from all the elements, the heat, the cold, the rain, whatever the case may be, it's out of the way. And then when I have to use it to take a picture of the bass on the catch board, go ahead and open there, use it, take my photo. It's carabined and tethered, so it works out just fine. All right, next up for the installation, a very important and key item on my kayak, and that's a cushion by Kayak Cushion. They have 3 different levels, one thinner than this one. This would be the medium one, and they have one a lot thicker. They offer different colors, different designs, different logos you can put on it, very customizable, and I would not leave the house without this. So if you guys are interested in picking one of these up, reach out to Brandon at Kayak Cushion. The customer service is awesome. They offer a sponge to clean the kayak cushion, which smells amazing. I'm not even sure where he gets this sponge, but I almost want to leave it in the car. It smells amazing. Also, this is his contact info. If you guys are interested, you can also find them on social media at Kayak Cushion. And they even go out of the way to give you a written card I mean, I'm not sure how many companies are out there doing this, but it's pretty cool. So check them out. Very simple process. You place it here. They have these long straps here. So basically it fits right under your seat. All right, so now that the kayak cushion is set up, I also like to run a Yeti cooler. This Yeti cooler, I typically just run snacks. I don't run any beverages in this. If it's a shorter day and I don't plan on being on the water too long, I'll maybe throw some ice in here and throw some beverages, but for the most part, snacks go in here, and then a cooler gets ran in the back, which we'll get to that in a later part of the video. So this basically goes here. So before I put that in there, on the Autopilot 136, there's a empty spot here. I've seen people put tackle crates. I've seen people put a bag of lures, snacks, batteries. You can pretty much put anything in this little section. This Yeti cooler fits perfect right in there. It's right here on my side, so if I need to reach in there and grab something quick to eat, I have that option, so that's where I run it. All right, so the next thing I want to go ahead and install is going to be my tackle crates. Right now I'm using the tackle crates by Yak Attack, so let me go grab that real quick. If you guys would like to see the install of this build on the Blackpack Pro, I have a 16 by 16 and I also have the 13 by 13. And I also am going to be running the short stack. So if you guys would like to see the build in this entire build, I'm going to do this on a separate video just to not have this video be so long. So if you guys would like to see this build, make sure you subscribe. I will be pushing this out shortly. All right, so the Blackpack Pros are all pretty much built out the way I'm going to run them. I have a 13 by 13 and a 16 by 16 here. So by the 13 by 13, you have these latches here. You just press down on them. They open up, then you have the lid. In here, you could put your tackle, you could put miscellaneous gear, you could put pretty much anything you want, batteries. I haven't decided if I'm gonna be using this for another rig or if I'm gonna be using it for the 136 behind me, but nonetheless, I do have that available. I haven't added any rod tubes, again, because I'm not too sure if I'm gonna be using it for this rig behind me, but we'll see what happens with this. Now for this one, this is the one I am gonna use. This is the 16 by 16. I added a short stack. My previous build did not have a short stack, so I'm interested to see how this works out for me. I plan on using the short stack for soft plastics, GoPro equipment, miscellaneous tools that I may need. So I'm gonna keep that there. And then once you close those latches and you pop these open, you have access to, that's a little hard to reach out there. All right, so you have access to your tackle storage here. This is basically where I'm gonna keep all my tackle. That's how I kept it on my last build, but this one is pretty much gonna be split. I used to keep all my tackle and soft plastics in one. The more you carry, the more tight the box may be, and all your gear pretty much is crammed in there, which is why this year I'll be running the short stack. So that's that, and I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so right here I have rod tubes. I have 4 on this side and I have 4 on this side, so I'll be running 8. I'm possibly gonna run 2 more here to have 10 rods. For right now, I think 8 is just fine. They do come with bungee tie down, so you don't lose your rods or your reels in the case that you flip over or whatnot. You know, hopefully that doesn't happen, but it is an option to have that there. Honestly, I'm very happy with it. I love the color. So now let's go ahead and mount it on the kayak. So again, this is a very easy installation. Old Town provides these bungees here to tie down your gear. So you simply just push that there. I'll show you on this side what that looks like. So you just grab this end, connects there to your tie down. I like to push this bungee under my rod tubes so they're out of the way. Then I'll grab this tie down here and simply just give me some slack. Spin it, boom, it's on. And that's it. So now this thing is literally not going anywhere. I mean, it can move back and forth because it's on a bungee system, which is good because I typically like to put a cooler here. But for the most part, it's not going anywhere. Now that we're on the topic of conversation when it comes to coolers, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys where I mount my cooler and which cooler I use. So I use this Yeti cooler right here. Honestly, it fits a ton of drinks. Again, that's where I store my food, my snacks, but for the most part, all my drinks go in here. I'll go ahead and place this right here. And it's honestly such a awesome fit. Not in the way, very easy to access, and that's pretty much it. Now, if I do run 2 rod tubes up front, right around here, I will probably have to push the box back a bit more. But if I stick to 8 rods, then I won't need to do that. And I know you guys are probably thinking, well, why don't you put rods here? And we'll get to this soon as to what I utilize these rod holders for. All right, so for this rod tube holder here, some people put rods there. I put this. So I have a battery pack. I can also charge an iPhone or an Android, whichever phone device you may have. And then I put this right here. This is also by Yak Attack. And this is where I mount my GoPro. So I'll just literally put this in here. Fits perfectly just fine like that. And then I have this Velcroed, and I'll mount this to my box in here. I don't have Velcro on the box yet, so that's something that I gotta take care of. I'll place that there for now. But for demonstration purposes, you guys can pretty much see that that's what it looks like. So this is where it goes. I mount the GoPro here. I have the cable that goes to the GoPro, and this will keep my GoPro charged the entire day of fishing. So that way I always have a battery source. That way I can always go ahead and get more content throughout the day instead of using the GoPro battery itself, which probably lasts a handful of hours maybe, if that, if I'm lucky. So I always use this. This will last me all day, and I'm happy with it. So again, GoPro goes here, gives me the front view of where I'm fishing, and then I also run another GoPro device for the birds. Then I run another GoPro device up front, or an Insta360 that faces from the front and faces the rear, where it gets me fishing that way. So these birds are crazy. All right, so now let's talk tackle. We're gonna open up the tackle storage spot, not the soft plastics, but the opposite. We'll leave that right there. So I like to place my top water stuff closest to me. So that's my frog box. These are all my prop baits. Then I got my lipless and my square bills. Then I got all my other cranks here. Then I have my chatterbaits. I have some jigs. And then I have some spinner baits. I'd also like to keep my weights and hooks and jerk baits. So it fits there perfectly. And like I mentioned before, this will be my soft plastics. So I'm not gonna put anything in there right now because soft plastics, I typically like to go onto my wall here, select what I'm gonna use the next day, and then I go put it in the Bass Mafia case you see right here. And then once they're all in there, I'll put them in here. Guys, real quick, I wanna go ahead and talk to you guys about what I attach to my Blackpack Pro. I have a carabine and also have a lanyard to it so I don't lose it. This is for a wacky rig setup. You put the soft plastic in the air, and once you put the soft plastic in there, you go ahead and grab this O-ring right here, and you just basically slide this O-ring all the way to the end until it falls off, and you places it on the soft plastic for you, so you're not struggling trying to feed a soft plastic through these little O-rings here. It's an awesome piece of equipment. Again, I have it attached to a carabine and a lanyard so I don't lose it and falls in the water or whatnot. And it's very easy accessible. I just turn around and grab it, and I can always pull it up to the front if I need to. And when I'm done, it goes right back and we're done. So little piece of equipment that I like to share with you guys. Very, very cheap. You can look this up online and it comes in handy. I'm telling you, it's an awesome piece of equipment. So in this rod holder, I like to place my Yak Attack leverage net. At the end, it has a foam grip that honestly just fits in there perfectly. And if you ever need to land a fish, it's right behind you. Just easily grab it, lock it into place with this locking system that it has, and then you'll be able to land the fish easily. All right, next up, let's go ahead and talk about a power pole. So there's a few things you need in order to mount it. I'll go ahead and walk you guys through that. I'll set this right here. All right, so these 4 screws are gonna need to be removed, and the bracket needs to be placed on. So this bracket comes from another company you have to order. Before I begin, I need to remove these 4 screws, install the base plate, and then after the base plate, install the bracket, and then actually install the motor of the power pole. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick and show you guys what that looks like. All right, so the base plate is mounted. It has 3 screws. It looks like it's missing one here, but it's really not, because if you notice that there's 4 slots here, and there's gonna be 4 screws that go into those 4 slots. And the bottom left one is gonna be the longest one if you compare it to the one on the right. So once that goes into there, it all attach to each other and become one, and then we mount the power pole. So now I'll go ahead and install this, show you guys what that looks like. All right, so now that is mounted. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws installed. It's not going anywhere. And the way you install this motor, you go ahead and place it in here as so. You're gonna see these slots right here. That's where these things go. There's 2 of them. So that's one, that's what it looks like. Here's a second. It goes right in there. Then you're gonna feed this pin, and you're gonna put this on the other side, and that's where pretty much it ties down to it. So I'll go ahead and install that real quick and show you what it looks like. All right, so the last thing I'd like to share with you guys is what battery I'll be using to power my Minn Kota trolling motor. So the battery I'll be using is a 12-volt 100 amp hour by Dakota Lithium. This battery I had before in my last rig would only fit in this box. It'd be one battery. Now it seems like Dakota Lithium has gone smaller and lighter, And I can actually fit not only this battery, but a 12 volt, 23 amp hour, which is pretty cool now that I can fit two. So I got to figure out what I'm going to be using that second battery for in this case, because I used to run all my other batteries in here, which I'll show you guys on a later video. If you guys like this video, please like and comment and subscribe, because the next video I'll be pushing out would be the graphs. And if you guys would like to see the graphs mounted, then you guys wouldn't want to miss out. Please subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching. See you guys in the next one.